What was something you did as a kid that you thought was badass but as an adult you find cringy? I used to wear padlocks on my belt loops. For extra stupid. They were padlocks I'd busted off the lockers in PE class with a shoe. So there I was walking around with 4 or so padlocks dangling from the belt loops of my Jankos. I thought raising my eyebrow at every little thing made me look cool. Looking back, it looked like I had problems. Grade 1 I took one of those chocolate coins in gold foil. Put a hole in it and ran a string through. And tied her around my neck, went to school bragging I won a medal in a hockey tournament. SMH. I remember signing up for a martial arts class and wearing a black and red GI and a red belt on my first day thinking I would look totally badass. My instructor made me take off the belt and GI top and told me to never do that again. This is the martial arts equivalent to wearing a white gown to someone else's wedding. I would breakdance in front of my large family at every event I could. Unfortunately, my father likes to film things for memory, so every so often I am reminded of my god-awful dance moves as a 10-year-old when we watch old home videos. I would also do finger guns at the camera afterwards like I was the best dancer ever filmed. Okay. At first I was thinking that's not that bad. Until you got to the finger guns. Hey. I've been told confidence is the most important factor in dancing. Unfortunately, I do not have the required trait to test that statement. I ate flower roots because I thought it would turn me into a fairy or a nymph. I had one wild imagination. I thought I'd look so cool and badass drinking orange juice while eating mints at the same time without flinching or gagging. I did this at school and at various events. Thanks to that, I can now handle doing that no problem, but it's bad knowing why it doesn't bother me. This reminds me of my friend in high school who would refuse the numbing injection when getting a filling at the dentist because he thought it was badass. Dude, the dentist doesn't give a shit and you're just making his job harder. I had a dentist who could do most minor fillings without it. Though he always gave you the option. I had a couple done at once. And on one side, I felt the tiniest pinch. And before I could even flinch, he stopped and said, "I better give you a shot on this side. I'll be back in 15 minutes after it takes effect." Man, he was a great dentist. I love doing it without the injection whenever possible. I always ask the dentist if it's gonna be possible without. And I always get a straight answer. I'd rather have a few minutes of pain than several hours of droopy face. Wore a brown suede jacket with a Hawaiian shirt to my senior picture day. Gen Z would probably call that a whole vibe lol. Apparently bandanas looked cool, was into Guns N' Roses as young teen. But it wasn't a proper one. It was my granny's neck scarf lol. Picking up the landline phone. Dialing a random number and attempting to prank the caller on the other side. I growled at my neighbor when I was 5. I used to bark at people I was chasing while playing soccer. Thinking it'll scare them that a dog is coming. It distracted them all right, but I think a barking kid coming at you is more unnerving than an actual dog. Eating ants. When my brother was 3, I found him eating ants. I asked why he was doing it. And he said, "I'm being Baloo the bear." This was such a reasonable explanation that 7-year-old me just shrugged and walked away. My brother ate ants and I asked what they tasted like and he said apple juice. I remember watching some kind of anime where this dude would smack a tree with a stick for hours to train. So that's what I did. In my free time I would go in my backyard and whack my tree for hours with a stick. I thought I was badass. My parents probably thought I was crazy. Getting a lollipop and acting like it was a cigarette. Have you seen kids with Smarties? Oh, some of my old friends used to smoke Smarties. One of them ended up having a coughing fit. And the other got the dust in his eye and it turned all red. I lived in an apartment growing up. I thought it was hilarious to stand in the entryway of the apartment building as still as possible facing a wall. Wearing an oversized t-shirt that covered the pair of shorts I had on. And then wear pants around my ankles. I was a bored kid. Your idea of a good time was to put yourself in timeout. Being in a hole in general. Dude. I was a big asshole. I will literally apologize to every adult who knew me as a kid. This hits me so hard every day. Every adult is just trying to get through the day. It is so cringy when I see kids acting like assholes. I just want to shake the shit out of them. While mom was busy at the bank teller's window, I spotted a long row of light switches in a remote area of the lobby. As a badass kid, I reached up and turned off the entire row, plunging the bank in darkness. That, in turn, called the cops because bank staff thought the place was being robbed. Holy shit, did your mom know it was you? She figured it out right away when the teller told her that there was a boy over by the light switches. Single quote. I had a rat tail when I was like 6. You and many other unfortunate kids. I was fortunate enough that my dad thought it was the dumbest trend. One of my senior photos is actually me in leather with a sword in the middle of a cemetery. It's still a cool photo, but it's like, yeah. No. It's a cool photo and I'd respect whoever took it, but I don't wanna be you. Ya know, yeah. I'm glad that there were also some general, sane photos also taken that were put in the yearbook instead. I'd walk around the neighborhood with a toy lightsaber and challenge any kid I saw to a duel. Same thing when I got a dual disc. The only problem I see with this being done as an adult is that I don't have my own dual disc or lightsaber to duel you with. And really, that's more my issue than it is yours. Back in kindergarten I used to run with my hands behind my back like Naruto. I would Naruto run. This was way before it was a meme and I only did it because my uncle, who lived with us at the time, showed me all his anime from when he was a kid. It gives you the feel of going faster because you feel like you're falling forward. And the wind streaming on your body gives that feel of air resistance and slipstream. I wore all black one Valentine's Day and thought I was so edgy and badass. I posted about it on my LiveJournal and a stranger commented that that was a dumb and unoriginal idea. I was crushed. LiveJournal, how are your 40s treating you? At around 8 to 9 YO, I decided I wanted vampire fangs. Best way to accomplish this? Grind my canine teeth with rocks. Literally cringe as an adult. Because they still occasionally sear with pain from a mistake made in a single afternoon. I used to walk and talk like a gangsta. How embarrassing. Shit. This reminds me of my backpack limp in high school. I'd wear my backpack on one shoulder and sag my pants. The weight being on one side gave me a ridiculous limp walk thing. My best friend still gives me shit about it 10 plus years later. This walk is so famous. Laughing face. For a time some very cool teenagers did that when I was young. Me and my best friend still have the biggest laugh when we remember. And it is even better when you see someone walking like this nowadays. But it has become extremely rare. Maybe you see one guy a year doing it. Such a joyous sight. It makes my day anytime. It is the walk where you take a normal left step, and then kind of bend down at the end of while doing your right step. Right. Laughing face, easy to learn. Difficult to master. I have only seen very few people actually having perfected this. Slapping the top of the doorframe in grade school. I still do this in my own house as a 41-year-old man. Practiced my Kamehameha form in the backyard. In case you're wondering, it was excellent. Doing Kamehamehas is timeless. I tried to give my mom one of those, all my life, kind of speeches. It didn't go like the movies. For the record, I got as far as, all my life you always try to tell me what to do and where to go. Before my mama literally laughed out loud and reminded me that this was not a movie and I still had to clean my room. Mother, I need to let you know that all my life, I've been searching for something. Something never comes and never leads to nothing. Nothing satisfies, but I am getting close. Closer to the prize at the end of the road. Single quote. You know, I always thought it was end of the rope. Like the song was some allusion to suicide. End of the road sounds way less depressing. When I was in secondary school I was showing off in front of my classmates when my teacher asked us how much she, as a human life, was worth. I shouted back, about 10 pounds an hour. Let me tell you, I did not have to wait until I was an adult to find that cringy. The second the words left my lips I was instantly disgusted in myself. She was one of the only teachers that truly wanted me to succeed and believed that I could. She absolutely did not deserve it, and no amount of laughter from my classmates could have made me think it was worth it. I would call it badass, but hey, so when I was like 8, we went with my friend's family to public saunas. Some people were naked there. I got hard, but instead of taking a towel to hide it, I was walking around naked, flexing my dick with every step. It must have been so cringy saying 8-year-old flopping his dick around thinking it's okay. That happened to me once when I went skinny dipping my friend and his brothers. And his dad, I think. Now it seems weird lol. Around age 10, I think. We had just been talking about the Seinfeld episode about shrinkage. And I remember saying, with no awareness of how weird it was, I have growage. Putting a crushed tin can between the wheel of my bicycle to make it sound like a motorbike. Not cringe at all, it's pretty funny. What's wrong with having a little spirit in yourself? Don't be a grown grumpy adult. Never forget you were young once. Ever. The neighborhood boys were tormenting me. They barricaded me in the house next door to mine. So to get even, I pulled down my pants at them. They all screamed and ran away. Being a dick to teachers. I literally cringe when I think about my buddies and I making a new teacher quit. She had probably always wanted to be one. And a bunch of punk-ass suburban kids ruined it for Jer. We did this to a male teacher. He was a kind and gentle person. We were asshats. We threw his stuff out the windows. Staged fights. ECT. We made him hate going to work. One day he just didn't show up. One of the most vital, honorable and selfless professions that exist. And I was a part of destroying this man and his dreams. It hurts. I quit teaching after 6 years. I have no idea how America can turn around the terrible culture in schools.